Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky, everybody, on this special Veterans Edition. I would like to start off by thanking all of my YouTube and Facebook subscribers. All of my new subscribers, welcome. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Share, like, subscribe. You can watch after the live video, so make sure you tell your friends and your family. My TikTok followers with Bunky Bunk. Today we have Mr. Rico Nieves. We're going to get into him in a minute, but I would like to say Happy Veterans Day to all of the women and men that serve the United States Armed Forces. Want you to know that you are appreciated. We appreciate all of your service, going out there, being away from your families, and your friends and all of your loved ones. A very special thank you to the brown and black veterans. You went out there, fought for a country that didn't appreciate you, came back treated as less than humans. Some people were even lynched in uniform. So we would like to give a special thank you and acknowledgement to those family members that were not giving the proper burials and accolades for their loved ones that are no longer here. So at this time, we're going to welcome Mr. Rico Nieves, former retired petty
No,
officer. Oh, you're still active?
no, ma'am, no, ma'am. I took off the
No.
uniform 4 years ago. I served 6 years in the Navy.
Six. So what do you call? Are you retired? Are you
I,
time
I
served?
I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled service connected veteran. So I sustained injuries in the military, and today I receive medical treatment and monetary compensation for the injuries that I sustained over 30 years ago.
Well, thank you so much for your services.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
you mentioned in that there are so many disabled vets that aren't getting the services that they need. Many are homeless, so we need to look out for our veterans out there like
Well,
you.
well, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that. First and foremost, it's an honor and a privilege for me to be here with you
Thank
this
you.
and all of your followers. And to God be the glory, first and foremost, because
Yes.
me personally, I can't do it alone, and I know that my higher power sustains me and carry me. So happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans, my sisters and brothers out there in arms that paid. Some gave all gave some. So thank you for acknowledging. And yeah, you touched something, that's off our topic, I guess tonight. Many of our sisters in arms and brothers in arms don't even know that they are entitled to service connected benefits, because I waited 25 plus years to get compensated because nobody told me that I was eligible to receive medical treatment. I got out in 1987, and I came to receive services for the first time in 2011.
So wait a minute. That's not a part of the discharge. Like they don't tell you this if you've been wounded.
Well, I guess I'm a dinosaur because when I got out in 1987, if you didn't want to re-enlist, in my situation, because I didn't re-enlist,
Mhm.
my goodbye was not a nice one. I gave them 6 years of my life. I joined
Mhm.
at 6 days after turning 17 years old. I actually dropped out of high school to join the U.S. Navy, and when I got out, either I agreed to re-enlist in my situation, and I didn't because they weren't giving me what I was asking for, what I
Right.
felt need at that time, and I got out. And so in my situation, I knew for many years that I had a hearing disorder because I listened to the TV loud, the music loud. The only time I feel that I don't have a hearing disorder is when my wife is yelling at me, so I just tune it out. But I knew I had something at least wrong with my hearing, and I had a cousin that retired, and he kept telling me, "Bro, you need to go get you need to go." And I
Mhm.
said, nobody ever told me I was entitled to. And finally, I took his suggestion or recommendation, and I walked in. I remember to New York City on 23rd Street in Manhattan to the Veterans Administration in August 2011, and they had told me, "What took you so long to get here?" But nobody ever reached out to me. So at another time, if you ever want to talk about that, I'm part of the Disabled American Vets. I was recently working or uh, sort of working slash volunteering my service of vet to vets, where I was doing an alternative to incarceration and treatment for our sisters and brothers in uniform. I recently got called last week for another job. I have too many projects right now on the table, so I can't overextend myself. But at another time, if you would like, that's something that you would like to talk about, I'm willing and able to share the little that I know. But there are too many people out there that don't realize that they are entitled. I started with 10% of a service-connected disability, which was approximately $115 in monetary compensation, plus the medical compensation, which is the treatment, which is priceless, right? To
Right.
be able to walk in. And today, I receive all treatment with the exception of dental, and that's something that I'm working on because you don't get dental in a minute through the VA unless you're 100% service connected. But I am at 80% compensation. So at 100% for a single individual, that's slightly over $3,300 a month, tax free. So
Hmm.
I'm at 80%. But I started with 10% and I learned the system. I started asking questions, and here we are. So the little bit I know in the future, wherever you need me, I'm here to assist you and anybody else out there.
Absolutely, I'm going to need you. And this just opened up a whole can of worms because this is stuff I did not know. Even working where I work, I come across so many disabled vets. But we'll talk about that after.
Yes, ma'am.
You are here because you were former mayoral candidate 2020 of Woodridge, New York, right?
That is correct. That is correct, ma'am.
So before we get into that, you told a little bit about yourself, but I am curious as to know, and I'm sure the people are too, what made you want to run for a small knit town like this where everybody knows everybody? What made you like sort of, don't take it wrong, an outsider? Because you know everybody here, the little cliques and stuff. Um, what made you want to run for that position?
Well, I learned at a very early age that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, right?
Facts.
And I spent many years down south. My mother did an amazing job raising eight of us by herself with a sixth grade education.
Wow,
And
that's
one of the
better.
things Mama always taught me was, treat people as you want to be treated. You
Right.
understand? And it doesn't matter. I come from Brooklyn, New York. I come from a neighborhood called Bushwick, and predominantly black and brown people,
Mhm.
and very disenfranchised community. But one of the things that I learned at a very early age, I'm a '60s baby. Uh, I'll be 58 years old in the near future, and one of the things I learned was if you don't have anything, make sure you have respect. And Mama taught me that, you respect people no matter if they respect you or not. You just, if they don't respect you, you just disconnect yourself. And that was something that I carried on. And when I joined the Navy, I treated people with respect, and
Right.
it just came natural. And then spending years down south, for the first time, a Brooklyn kid out of the hood, right? I went down south, man, and it was an amazing experience because being in the south, especially being around African American people, black and brown people, respect goes a long ways,
Yes.
and I learned that, and it just, I had already learned it at home, but I think it just catapulted me to another level. That an act of kindness will go a long way,
Yes.
and that's something that I try to teach my children. From my eldest to my oldest is 38 years old to my youngest, and that's something that my children will always address you as yes ma'am, no sir, and I had recently a friend of mine that told one of my grandson Pharaoh, who's 7 years old, oh, you don't have to address me. I said, I don't know how you raise yours, but mine will be raised with yes sir and no ma'am. And I think that's just takes us to another level. But I think my background, for 20 plus years I worked in the HIV prevention field.
Oh, okay. All right.
Uh, and what happened were my tenure there started while uh, uh, working with the Department of Corrections. I watched too many of my brothers who were incarcerated uh, die in prison because they refused to receive treatment because they were being ostracized by fellow inmates. The staff made it harder for them to get treatment, and not all staff, but in general, right?
Right.
And I watched too many brothers have a release date and get carried out in a pine box. And I said I needed to be a change agent for that community. But in 1993, 1994, 9 months, I lost my three biological brothers at the age of 37, 39, and 41 years old from complications to HIV and AIDS.
Wow. Okay.
So I came from what I perceived to be a highly functional family, but today I know that it was a highly dysfunctional family. I mean, if you are in environments for so long, you tend to believe that a lot of stuff that goes on in our lives is normal.
Yes, you normalize it.
Yeah. So that was my calling to work in that field after I got out the Navy. I did several things for realtors, but I didn't realize that that was my calling, to helping people.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, fortunately, I take everything that the Lord gives me as a blessing. In 2013, I was diagnosed with multiple cancers. I'm a ground zero 9/11 survivor,
Wow.
and so I was forced to leave the traditional work field, and then I came up here to what I call the sticks on September 11th. I believe it was 8 years ago. So 2015, I believe that, no, maybe 2013, 2014. In that time, I moved up here. And like I said, the sticks is home for me. Some people call this
Sticks.
boonies. This is how I've been
Oh,
raised.
right.
Quiet. People say it's the suburbs. For me, it's the sticks, and that's just the term that we use. And I don't mean that in a derogatory manner. I
Right.
mean
Right.
in a peaceful manner. Uh, Here in Woodridge, I moved from Ridgewood, Queens, to Woodridge, New York. How ironic
That's
that
a
is,
culture shock.
right?
Yes.
But so I sat here, and it's not a secret, and I try to choose my words carefully, but I am who I am. What you see is what
But
you get.
I hear you. Mhm.
There's no fluff about me. I try to process what I say today because sometimes I don't know how to bite my tongue. But immediately moving up to Woodridge, um, I knew that a certain population commandeered this community,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you know, and I watched it, and I kept quiet, and I just mind my business, and as time went on, people would come to my house from certain communities on the Sabbath. Can you come turn my lights on? You turn my oven on, from the
Wait.
Jewish population.
Let me ask you, do you
Yes,
think they came to you because you were so polite? Because that's really bold to just go to somebody and ask them to do that. Like, do you think it was your polite nature that they
I,
felt
I,
okay?
I think what happened was, as I met my immediate neighbors, I told them, I tend to keep to myself, but always realize that you can count on me, whether it be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, if you have a family emergency situation. If it's within my means, I'm here to assist you. And that's just how I was raised.
Mhm.
I was raised in a community where my neighbors had permission by my mama to correct me if I was out of order.
Yeah, because that's how it was.
That's how it was. And there wasn't much gunfights then. It was more fist fights, right? And but you made up with your buddies, and that was that. But
Right.
I think I tried to let my neighbors in my immediate area know that I'm here to assist you in any way. And I guess the word got around. But what happened was, is after a while, it didn't take long to realize that there were certain people that looked like me that were in a lesser situation, whether it be economic status, uh, and their needs weren't being met.
Right. Yes.
Their needs weren't being met. So I just started watching things, and I'm big on documentation, and I was taught that if it's not documented, it didn't happen.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
That,
started documenting stuff in my mind. I like to send myself I sent myself text message as a reminder. This happened.
oh,
Go
wow.
through your text messages, and whether it be a quote that I seen or something that impacted me. So I would send myself something I seen in community.
Hmm.
And then a couple 2 years ago, a Hasidic gentleman from the community asked me to run for mayor,
Hmm.
and I thought he was out of his mind. I
And
said,
this
"What?"
was one of one that lives here all
And
year round,
yes, yes.
because
So
there's a difference.
yeah, he asked me to run for mayor, and I
Hmm.
told him, I said, "You out of what I said was you out of your cotton pick of mine in my head, right?" But I said, "No, not me. I'm not the right person for that. I don't know anything about politics. All I know is about helping the next person." And he said, "That's why I'm asking you." But in the back of my mind, I kept asking myself, "What is it that you really need from me?" So I
Right.
started meeting with so many of their so-called leaders within that group of people,
Okay.
and and I have to be honest with you. Some of those people I carry very close to my heart, and there's some of them that a snake is a snake.
Right. Like with anybody.
Right.
Right.
And I heard people, "Oh, we want to get you elected so you can have this person fired." And I was like, okay. So I would make mental notes down.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, well, if they say that about he or she, what did they say about me?
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand?
Totally
So
get it.
I started thinking about it, and I'll be honest with you today at this stage of my life. And I give all the glory to God. I'm learning to be a man for the first time, a responsible man, a husband, a father, and I don't make any moves unless my boss, my wife, my queen, after prayer meditation, if she's not comfortable, I'm not making a move.
That's what's up. That's
You
how it's supposed to
you,
be.
you
That's
know,
how it's
and
supposed
I
to
can
be.
say that that's for the first. I've been with my wife now 16 years, and I can honestly say that if it wasn't for her and God's grace and mercy, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, because she's been
Right.
an amazing woman. Just through her spiritual walk has transformed me in a lot of ways.
So she kept you covered. Your wife kept you
Yes,
covered.
yes, yes, ma'am, she did. Yes, ma'am, she did.
Because
Yes, ma'am.
I saw, because I have to look people up when they come on my show, and I saw on your page you have praying together, God first, family second, personal development, and it's crazy because before I even seen all of that on your page, I had that conversation with my son. I was like, you have to know the orders. Once you have the orders right, everything else falls into place.
Yes, ma'am.
And I commend you. I do. I do. So she gave you the okay to run for mayor.
Yes, ma'am, she did. We spoke about it. I have a young son, Mikey, that's 13 years old, Miguel Angel, that you will meet in the near future. He's sharp as a tack, that young man, and he's very big on in our corporate office, which is the dining room table. Uh, he's instrumental in our conversations. And I listen to what they say, because I realize that I know that I don't know. I know that I don't know, and I'm
And that
okay
takes that
with
takes
it.
a big person. That takes a big person.
Y-
That
You
yeah,
I've done too, Miss K. I've done too many crashes and burns. You know what I'm saying? Thinking I knew it all.
I
Down
love
south
that.
we say, a hard head make a soft butt. Soft tail down
Like
south,
yes,
right?
I know that saying. Yeah.
So, and if I offended anybody, please accept my sincerest apologies. Just
Why?
for what I just said.
What? What? It's the no. You didn't offend anybody. If you did, they need to do it a self examination because that is not offensive.
But yeah, I sat here and I started engaging. I remember one time walking in a local store here. I,
Did so you won't say it. I can say it. I can say it.
I walked
You know,
in a local store, and I watched
because it's the only one here.
an older black woman getting credit for lottery numbers. And I realized that many of my people in this community live check to check. So, and I'm very astute to certain. I come from the hood. I tell people I got a graduate degree from the university, but I got a PhD off the block. Don't get it twisted.
Mhm.
You understand? And I'm very careful in my surroundings, and I watch certain things going on, and I said, to myself, how is this person getting credit for lottery numbers, which
Yeah,
is
that's
right, which is illegal. But
yeah,
what happens is that we know that addictions comes in different many forms and fashions.
it's true.
People buy a
Yeah.
scratch ticket just hoping that if I hit it big, I'm out of Woodrige.
Hello,
You
that's
know,
me.
I'm out of here, right? If I we're gonna we hit it big every day because we're covered by his blood and
Yes,
healed by his stripes. So we hit it
yes,
big every day. We have
yeah,
a prize, right?
yeah, yes,
But should we be blessed uh, where financial freedom comes into a factor? I don't plan to leave here. I plan to occupy a lot more land. You
but
know,
yeah, I get it. I totally hear you. I say I would leave. I'm out, but you know what? My sons tell me that I don't win. They said because mom, you'll give it all away. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. But I just seen a lot of things going on in this community, man. For my people, that that when I was here for several years and I never seen a bus services. What happens when a person like you and I and or somebody that's disenfranchised altogether financially and living check to check and they need to make it to Walgreens or to Walmart or to Kmart to go get their medications and they don't have a way or a ride. So you have to sometimes because we don't want to bother anybody, we don't ask, and sometimes people don't get their medications on times. you
Right.
know the closest thing for us to get anything is either Rock Hill or or, or Monticello. And
Yeah.
I watched that, and that was one of my points that I wanted to campaign on getting the bus services. And I guess it got out to the current mayor, and then shortly after that, the buses started because they
Well, they
weren't.
they need to get that Sullivan First bus coming here
Hmm.
because number one, it's affordable
Hmm.
and it's not big and it travels more. Like there's certain spots, especially working for the county, I see where they go. There's certain spots that really need that bus, like a Woodridge or that certain road near Hilldale Dorms, that they don't go to. And those are places where the people really need the transportation. So it's crazy that she lived here probably all her life
100 years her family's been here.
and she didn't realize that transportation was neat. Well, no, because she's privileged.
Well,
Call it what it is. She's
you know,
privileged.
when I put on a Navy, I put on my Navy uniform on July 7th, 1981. I went to boot camp in Great Lakes, in Waukegan, Illinois, right? And all I seen was it didn't matter if you were black, brown, yellow, green. We all wore the same color. And
Yes.
I remember it like yesterday. Young man, 17 years old. I wasn't even 17 a week. Oh, uh, and I remember that my company commander, which is equivocal to drill sergeant and other armed forces, QM1 JD Purser. I remember this white man telling me, "Look around you. What do you see?" We all, looked around and we seen some people said bunks, bunk beds, whatever. And what he said was, "You all have the same color uniform, and unless you are Jesus Christ and you can walk on water, you guys better pull together from here on out, day one, because the biggest threat on a naval vessel is fire. You know,
Yes.
it's fire. So and I remember that. Whether we all had, I think we all know that everybody carries their own dislikes, prejudices, and racisms in their own way, right? Whether
Right.
it's very deep down inside. But I remember that lesson, man, at 17 years old. You pull together, you'll die together.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You
And
know,
that ship is like a little town, right? My
that's
cousin's in the Navy now. So it's like a whole nother world.
It's a whole nother world. And one of God's greatest creation is water. And I don't care how big you think that boat is,
Yeah, it's
it's not
not that
a
big.
toothpick in that ocean. Because when Mother Nature gets upset, she gets upset.
That's scary. That's real scary.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of needs, and I still have identified needs here. One of my biggest things is here. I started to open. I wanted to open a rotisserie chicken place here, just chicken and vegetables. And would you know that certain people will not rent to me because my food is not kosher? So, and my idea was it wasn't for the Jews, for me to open a restaurant. My idea was for the blacks and Latins, the black and browns, the the documented, the undocumented that live in this town, because we know there's a huge Latin population here that's undocumented, and they just eat sandwiches all day because whatever,
Mhm.
and most people don't have a car here from our community. In the black and brown community, and so my goal was if I can make some rotisserie chicken and vegetables. I'm not gonna get rich off selling chicken and vegetables, but you know what? It beats a processed sandwich. Excuse me, a processed sandwich that they're selling at the local store. And I couldn't find it. They wouldn't rent to me. And finally, up maybe a month ago, a Jewish leader, a Jewish member from the community told me they won't rent to you because it's not kosher food.
Now, because I've never tried to open a business, so let me ask you. So when you went to open this, do you go to like a zoning board or like their like what is it that is so undercut? That's racism right there. What if I don't like kosher food? What is that saying? It's saying that they Woodrige.
Well, I've seen 3 establishments at the time that had rental signs on them,
Mhm.
commercial spaces. And I remember one by
It's ridiculous.
right here by the pizza parlor here in the square by the IGA.
Uh-huh.
It was a local place right immediately to the right of it for rent. And I called the landlord. He says, "Oh, I can't rent to you." And I said, "Well, why can't you rent to me?" He says, "Because you're gonna hurt the pizzeria's business." I said, "Okay." So I
It's a
went and
different food. How
yeah.
would it hurt?
Right. So I spoke with the owner of the pizzeria. He gave me his so-called blessings. He says, "Call the landlord, tell him you spoke to me. I give it the okay." They didn't rent to me. It stood empty for months, and now it's a shoe store that
For the
uh,
Hasidic community.
right. They're not here this time of year. So that's a
Those
space
shoes ain't kosher. Are
I,
those shoes kosher? Like what?
unless they've been blessed by a rabbi, ma'am, and I
I'm
don't know,
so offended right now.
So
I'm
uh, so that
so
place is
offended.
closed. It only serves a select population. Um, and once again, and that's just one of the things I'm looking to do here. Just 'cause I believe that we should be able we should be able to eat other things other than processed foods, and
There's no diversity. There is no
there's
nothing. It's
nothing here. There's nothing.
no.
There's nothing here.
I think my blood
You know,
pressure just went up.
I mean, I visit pretty much everywhere here in the community, and I consume some of their services, and uh, for the most part, from the local barber to the Locks bagel spot and the IGA and Tony's restaurant. I try to frequent everything around here, but
Mhm.
and that's just me. Maybe, and that's not to say that not anybody else is not open minded. I just I like to touch everywhere I go.
No, I mean, I totally get being open-minded. I totally get it. Supporting the local businesses, I get that. But if they don't support you, if it's either it's our way or no way, that is not okay. That is
Absolutely.
not okay. And I'm sure there are a lot of people like until I spoke to you, I had no idea of any of this because I'm in my own little world, you
Mhm.
know. And that's not okay. Um and it shows that these politicians or whatever are in their pockets. They're owned by them. Somebody getting a check. Somebody getting something. You have the board, which you could have, yeah, made the decisions at the board meetings, right? That at 10 o'clock in the morning. They like 10 o'clock.
What happens when you have a traditional job that you work from 9 to 5? And if you have a concern in this community, right? what happens, you can, imagine, here I'm at work, whether it be Kmart or at a county job, whatever my job would be. Imagine me asking my boss, can I please leave now at 9:30 because I want to make a 10 o'clock in the morning board meeting, uh because they don't have that going on in the evening. When I checked on that, they said nobody was coming in the evening in the past, and I don't know how true that was. So they made it at 10 o'clock, and that was something that I had discussed with some other members in the community. A gentleman by the name who's just recently. Uh, he just ran for trustee. He's a former mayor, Mr. Lou Saperstein. He's a former mayor in this community. I think he just got vote. I think he had enough votes, or he's waiting on the absentee ballots to become a trustee again. I've spoken with him on numerous occasions. There was some concerns that we shared alike, and those were one of them. Just the board meetings. Sometimes weren't uh, uh, sensible for everybody to be there.
Right.
But then again, also when I looked at my community, the black and brown community, I have to tell you that I was disheartened, and I can honestly say that
They're
never,
not involved.
never did I see one of my people there.
Yeah, they're not involved. And
So
I don't know if it's because they feel as if their voices aren't going to be heard. Um, because yes, it's totally an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle.
well,
And it's like voting. People are like, I'm not gonna vote, doesn't matter. My vote doesn't matter anyway. Yes, it does. It
yes, ma'am.
does.
When word got out that I was running for mayor, and I started door knocking, and I door knocked on pretty much the only places I didn't door knock was in some certain communities, because I was told I wasn't welcome, and I still went there.
What?
Yeah, because
My
certain communities here,
God.
the upper development here, um, in the upper development, I guess there's in this community there's certain synagogues here, and I guess there's a village rabbi that predominantly, so I guess they vote as a
Yeah, they vote in blocks.
yes.
Yeah.
I was told that,
So
and I don't
annoying.
know. And I, in all fairness to the rabbi, he didn't tell me, but I was told that he didn't want to meet with me, so I went to his house.
He didn't and what was his reason?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I never spoke
Because
to him.
they wasn't man enough to say it. That's why. They hide behind their little this is really aggravating. It's like really oh god.
Yeah. So I remember speaking with his son, and I said, "Would you please let your father know that I came by? And I would like to meet with him because he's
Mhm.
apparently a well-respected member, leader, stakeholder in the community, and I like to know what are the community's needs or what are their views on stuff, as well as I went to some of the I went to several Latin undocumented immigrants that we have here. And I
Mhm.
told them, you don't have to live like that,
Right.
the rest of your life undocumented. There's a process that we can assist you that whether you came in here illegally or not,
Okay.
and because we know a lot of our Latin brothers and sisters come from other countries here, where they
Right.
average $200 a month, for their salary, and they come here and they break their backs
Yes, they do.
and
Yes,
a lot
they
of
do.
them do jobs that a lot of us
Don't
either
do.
find meaning or don't want to do. And
Right.
these people send their monies back, most of their monies back to their families, but they fly under the radar for 20, 30 years. So let me tell you something. I'm not here to get into whether or not you're building a wall. If you here, if I don't care how you got here, the question
Right.
is, what are you going to do to stay here legally? Don't tell me that you've been here 10 years and you haven't done nothing to get a EIN number, paying taxes. Because if you here, you're working, you're employed, you're making monies. What can we do now to assist you to stay here legally?
Legally. Right.
And so that was some of the things I seen. And then when I started door knocking in the black and brown community, some of the responses I got, "Are you really gonna run?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, I'm not even registered to vote, so I can't vote." And I said, "Well, let's vote." I ran into people that were incarcerated that had been home 20 years, and didn't even know that they had a right to vote.
Right.
So,
But they've already been told they can't.
right. So, and they was like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Absolutely. I'm 110% sure. I know what I'm telling you." You know, and so but the sad part was that and I go to battle with you, but don't push me to battle by myself. I didn't
Right.
see many of our peoples come out on election night to vote.
Right. You can't want it for them. They have to want it, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and to tell me that nothing is going to change, you right. If
Right.
you don't come out and vote, I mean,
Right.
election night, when the votes were counted, the current mayor, Miss Joan Collins, had, I believe, 85 votes, and I had 84.
Wait.
You heard it right. I was down by one vote on election night. The joke is that Rico Nieves forgot to vote for himself. So
Don't you do that first? I'm like, I thought, isn't that the first
uh,
thing you do?
we voted early, my wife and I. And I think she won the election with the absentee ballots. And I was
Of
told
course. Of
so.
course.
But so we're at a point now that I gave it my best shot. My wife asked me not to run again. I mean, I was being called on the night of election. My son was 12 years old, and he was in tears. And I seen him go to his mother. And I tell people, don't get it twisted. I ain't too far removed. You know, don't when it
Like you
comes
can
to
catch these hands.
you know, hands and feet. You know what I'm saying? You know, you know. And I remember my son telling me after the election, Poppy, they were saying you were a Black Panther, that you were an Antifa. The
What?
current he heard, and he said he heard the current mayor say that, and about me
What?
to other uh, white voters, and it was sad. Let me tell you something. I'm not
Well, the Black Panthers, though, they were
right,
good people. Please
right,
stop
right.
it. They don't even know who they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
Sit
yeah.
down.
So, no, I'm not an Antifa. No, I'm not a Black Panther. I never was. But just to slew lies on an individual,
People are so mean.
you
So
know.
mean.
And I realized, my wife told me, politics are dirty.
Nasty.
People do
Na-
anything to win. And
yes.
I voted for our current mayor on numerous occasions. This lady used to come by my house. We used to speak, like I'm speaking
Spinning
to
and
you.
grinning.
And the moment she heard that I was running, it's like I grew horns in the tail, I guess, because I was her worst enemy. And I can tell you, she's never done anything mean to me, or bad to me, other than that night election when
Mhm.
my wife and my son witnessed certain things being said about me that weren't true. But I realized that some people just want to win by any means necessary, and I'm not that type.
No
Not where I have
integrity.
to hurt you, not where
Right.
I need to
Peop-
lie on you. Then it ain't for then it isn't for me. Because if I have to beat you by lying, then I gotta continue to lie to stay where I need to be.
People like that power. It's all about power, title, and positions.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
will. Hello. Satan wanted the power, did he not?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
don't care. They
Yes, ma'am.
they don't they don't care. So then you running again. You don't think you will run again?
Uh, uh, I'm holding conversations now. I think what's happening here also, there's some members that have expressed a desire to run for the mayor position.
Mhm.
Uh, I, I know that if I run, I'm going to say this. If I don't have anything good to say, I'm not going to say anything right about certain people. But I know that my intentions to run, it's funny because as a disabled, I am 100% disabled right now. And, for me, I had to seek counsel that for me to run as mayor, I was looking to even donate the $10,000 that I think that the mayor receives for that position, because I didn't want to lose my Social Security disability benefits. I didn't need the $10,000 that bad. If I needed to donate it, that's what it was.
Mhm.
So for me, it's never been about the money.
Right.
It's never been about, because it's an extra project, a big project, because now I have the shoulders of the community on the weight of the community on my shoulders,
Right.
right? uh I'm too old to be bamboozled and hoodwinked. You understand? The only person I jump for And sometimes I'm a little slow. It's for my wife. You
Mhm.
understand? You just ain't gonna tell me, oh, I voted you in. Or, no, no, no. Them days are far gone. If you voting for me, it's because you're voting for me because you believe in your heart and in your God fearing conscience that I am the right individual for the position. But
Right.
don't vote for me with a hidden agenda because I'm not the person. Because then
Right.
you're gonna let the person that votes for me, should I run for mayor and be elected, they're gonna let themselves down. It won't be me letting them down; they'll let themselves down. So I'm thinking about it.
Mhm.
Um, I'm actually, I think next week I'm opening a bail bonds company in Monticello. So,
Okay.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, the name of my company, and I'm not here to, I hope and
No,
pray.
promote it. Promote it.
I hope and pray, and listen to this, my people that are listening to this phone, this presentation. I hope and pray that you never need my services. But should you ever need, or should know anyone that ever needs services where they need a bondsman, I'm actually just waiting on the license from the state of New York. I already have an office. The name of my business is Nieves Bail Bonds, doing business as quick release bail bonds, right in Monticello, right across the street from the courthouse, 7 St. John Street.
Okay.
And I'm there because, sad but true,
It's needed.
people go to jail every day.
Mhm.
This bail reform, a lot of people, we seen this crime rates skyrocketed. People say, oh, I'm not going to get a bail. They're just going to release me. And it happened. And I guess what happened with the bail reform, they didn't expect the crime wave to hit the way it is. So
It's crazy.
I decided to step in. I also, I have an agenda. Uh, 80%, if not more, the people that are incarcerated in the state of New York are black and brown people.
Yes, they are.
You will never go to jail. Listen to this. You will never go to jail or find yourself incarcerated and say, well, the place is too full, come back tomorrow.
No, especially they just built a new jail here, so that they got plenty of room. They got
You,
plenty
you
of-
know, so, I know that treatment works. Um, and my goal is that anybody that comes into my office that needs my services is to get their loved ones uh, out of prison,
Right.
of incarceration, into they're found guilty by a group of their peers, hopefully, right? Or
Right.
exonerated, or found not guilty. But in the interim, is we know that most of the times, unless it's something totally different, most of the time when a crime is committed, it's because a person is under the influence of something, whether it be alcohol, drug, or drug is the drug is the drug is the drug, right? And I believe that treatment works.
Or if they have mental illness.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up as well. So I believe that, yeah, okay, we'll get the individual out of jail, but let's form a treatment plan to keep you out of jail.
Right.
What brought you here?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
you're fighting for your freedom, but let's address the issue that brought you here. And that's not my job. You
Right.
understand? But I've been a treatment provider for many, many years. And I do know that if you don't fix the problem, it's just going to continue if you don't address that problem, it's just going to continue to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh man. I didn't expect all of this. Like, wow. Like you opened up my eyes to so much going on. I just thought I was gonna have the former mayoral candidate on. I didn't know I was gonna learn about veterans not knowing about their services. Which we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna have you on again because
Yes, ma'am.
that's something I definitely need to know about with my job because there's a lot of things I don't know. I don't know how to help them. You
Mhm.
know, I didn't know about the um, kosher Woodrige. That's what I start calling it, the kosher Woodrige. Um, it's really troublesome. It's really troublesome. Um, it's racist. Um, I don't even know because instantly my blood pressure went all the way up. It's like I can feel it because it's not okay. And then you have this person in office And like, what is she doing? Like, is she addressing it, or she's just allowing it? I don't know what that noise is in my earphone. Apparently, she's allowing this to go on. You know, this man, um, the the high rabbi or whatever. To me, he's not respectable, because if you were respectable, you would have a conversation. That is not godlike to think you are above anybody. See, I have a problem with that.
Hmm.
I do. And then they want people talk. They want people to treat them fairly or treat them above or whatever. But yet you don't even have the common courtesy to talk to your neighbor
Hmm.
because you think you're better than. See, I have a problem with all of that. That's just me. Like when I look at what's going on with Fallsburg, with the Fallsburg election,
Hmm.
um, I was called anti-Semitic because I had an opinion,
Hmm.
which I'm always like you. I have my own opinion. Nobody's going to tell me what to do and what to say, you
Yes, ma'am.
know. But I'm not going to come at them disrespectfully. But you step on my rights as a person who's careful with COVID and everything. You step my rights and my family doesn't matter because you feel like you can't get a little vacation and different things like that. You know, I get offended when I'm in Walmart and I see basically their population. I see a lot of people, but in their population walking around with no mask. So if I'm in Dollar General and they're right, I mean, like I, sorry, had to confront somebody because one of the teenagers was like in the heart of it when they were just lowering their mask on my heels, and I was like, if you don't back up off me and give me 6 feet or more, it's just like because it's like they don't respect you, and that's sad. But I'm gonna be called anti-Semitic for that. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I
You
really
know,
don't because I know it's not true.
we well, funny, right? I contracted COVID right after election night. When I was running, I guess during the campaign, and I try to be as safe as I possibly could. And by the grace of God and His mercy, I healed quickly. It didn't do much to me. Well, that's not true. I think today that my respiratory is off. I've been a person that can pretty much eat everything I wanted to eat. I've always worked. I've always, working out has been a way of life for me. But I do notice that I can't run or skip rope the way I normally would. And when I took ill. I came home. I infected everybody. My grandson, who at the time was 6 years old, and that was a big concern for me because, my little man. Then my son,
Right.
Mike, well, my wife, who's a severe asthmatic. So, and she still deals with that, the side effects or secondary effects from COVID. And we wear masks, and sometimes I get a little careless, and my wife, she rides my coattails about that. She says, "You're not Superman. You're not indestructible. You have a compromised immune system. And yeah, you've been vaccinated, and I'm waiting on the booster shot. Listen, people, you're going to hear people that are going to tell you that there's no such thing as COVID,
Yeah.
that it's a political thing. Well, I know I took ill. I know that I
Me
infected
too.
everybody, and I buried family members that uh, well, I watch, family members, friends pass away. Several friends pass away. My brother-in-law, who I had the privilege of spending last weekend with up here, he came up here for the first time, and we celebrated my mother's 87th birthday up here. And he was on his deathbed. We was already making. Some of the family members were talking about funeral arrangements. And so, I'm not here to talk about, whether it's political or whether, you know, I know that I was diagnosed with a COVID, and I had all the signs and symptoms that they were talking about,
Mhm.
so I just didn't make that up, what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm fortunate that I can be with you this evening and talk about it. Yeah, I'm vaccinated. I'm not here to push vaccination on anybody. In my household, I know what we do,
Right.
you,
Just wear a
you know,
mask.
and I respect people, man. I give them their space. But I'm like that anyway. I don't like to be up on anybody anyway, and I don't want nobody up on me. So,
Mhm.
but there's some people that if they don't have respect for you and I, it's because they don't have respect for themselves.
Right. Right.
Because in order for me to disrespect you, I got to disrespect myself.
My uncle, that's my uncle, Martin Senior. He said, "Don't give up, run again." He's an elder
Okay.
in the
Okay.
church. So he's telling you, like people want that change. You're a face that looks like us, you know. And you know, and that doesn't even matter. Like people will be like, "Oh well, either a woman or man or woman of color or whatever run." That doesn't make you the best candidate. It really, really
Absolutely.
doesn't. But you sound like you have what this community needs. So I mean, but I understand. Like if your wife, you don't want to put your family through that. Nobody wants to put their family through that. So, but it's something to think about. When is it? Next year? Is it next year?
Yes, ma'am. We're deep in prayer and meditation, and we're leaning towards running again. I can say that honestly now. I tell people right now, and I'm not ashamed to say this. And for a long time, I was afraid to say it, and I share that with you. Uh, uh, Domingo says if he doesn't, I'm coming to see you. That
Yeah, I'll be coming for
Domingo,
you.
yeah, Domingo, one of my mentors. He took me under his wing when
Hmm.
to pick up fugitives.
Oh,
So
a
Domingo,
bounty hunter.
yes, ma'am, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Domingo has had several hundred arrests underneath his belt, getting some of the bad people off the street, and he also is involved with a program. Him and his wife are the founders of the program called 845 Alive
Yeah, I'm
here.
on that show Friday.
Oh, okay, excellent. So we'll tune in. Him and his family are doing some amazing things. We don't talk as much as we need to, but I will reach out to him again as well. So he's doing some amazing things in the community. But yeah, I'm leaning towards running again, and I will say this to you, and I will say it publicly to everybody. I am a God fearing man first and foremost.
First
My
and
name is
foremost.
Ricardo- my name is Ricardo Nieves Jr. I am not Jesus Christ. I don't know how to turn the other cheek just yet, but that's because I'm a construction project under construction. So I'm learning. You understand? So please
Yeah,
don't fault me for that. But but uh, there's no better person to have in your corner.
it's not. It's not.
I'm a God fearing man. I'm not ashamed to say that. I know who my Lord and Savior is. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm not here to talk religion. I'm a person that God first in my family. Good all
Absolutely.
whatever your higher power is, I respect it. Whether we share the same beliefs or not, I respect everybody. I try to respect everybody how they should be respected.
Right.
And there's some people that I know that listen, Miss K, uh, you can't tell the wrong person the right thing, and you can't tell the right person the wrong thing. You understand? I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm not here. You know what? I know that I can't please everybody.
Right.
I start my day in prayer, and I fall 100 times throughout the day, but I end my night in prayer as a family.
That's what's up. It's
And
okay. It's okay. That's the right way. That's the right way.
because I know I need help. You understand? And I know
Yeah.
I need God. And so I just listen. I want equality for everybody. It can't be just one sided.
Yes.
I break bread with anybody
Right.
until you tell me that you don't want to break bread with me again, and I just keep you in my prayers. And I know, like I said, I'm not gonna make everybody happy. If I'm making everybody happy, I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
But talking about me and I'm renting space in your mind, I must be doing something right. I must be
Right.
shaking it.
Shaking them, shaking them. But you got
Right.
the leadership qualities. That's what you need. Because no leader is perfect. They're gonna ask the people who they surround themselves with, like, what are the people saying? What do they need? Because you don't know it all.
Hmm.
You don't know it all. So once you think you know it all, then that's a problem.
We're in trouble. I think I think, or I believe, let me say, I believe that what we need here is a community needs assessment done.
Yes.
Because what I believe you need, I can be totally wrong. I can't make them assumptions. If I run for mayor, and even if I don't run for mayor, I still think that somebody needs to pick up the torch and go. Like, how certain
Yeah.
people come up and do these census.
Yeah.
Well, why can't we create a community needs assessment and ask Mrs. May down the road or Mr. Tom down the road, sir, what are your needs? What have you identified as a need for you in this community? You understand? And I can go ask
Ex-
Mr. Weinberg down the road, from a whole different sector, from a whole different spiritual belief. Sir, what are your needs? What do you identify as a need? Because not everybody's going to have the same needs. And wants and needs are two different things. You know,
Absolutely.
people in hell want ice water. They always get it, but, so I think it's imperative that somebody, you know,
Crazy.
uh, somebody creates some sort of, and it can be as simple as 5 questions. What are your the 5 top uh, uh, needs that you have identified? And you'd be surprised that if you get 100, 200, and you go through them, it's gonna give whoever does that's gonna give them. Maybe that's something that we were gonna do. Maybe that's something that my wife and I, and my son Mikey, my grandson are gonna do, and my daughter Sasha gonna do. Maybe we'll just go door knocking and asking people, what have you identified as a need?
Work on those forms. No, I'm telling
Yes,
you, start working on them forms and start
yes,
getting
ma'am.
everything in order
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that when you run next year, Lord willing,
Amen.
everything everything's in decency and in order. And when God ordains something, no matter what somebody says, they can't stop what God already put in plan and action. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? So where two or more come together, right?
There he is in the midst.
Hello.
Amen.
Hello. So this is what we're gonna pray about. Be
Yes,
it
ma'am.
for or against, whatever God's will.
Yes,
So all right. So we got one. Oh no, it's 8 o'clock. Look at that. It's 8 o'clock. It's crazy. That went really fast.
yes, ma'am. It did.
Anything you want to say before I let you go?
Well, first and foremost, thank you. I sincerely thank you for taking time out to reach out to me, Miss K.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're playing phone tag or message tag for a while. Keep swiping the
Yeah.
phone, I'm getting all these drop downs for messages. So thank you for hearing me out. Um, for taking time to chat with me. I look forward to meeting you and your family, as well as you and your family meeting my family.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, I think it's imperative that as a stakeholder in this community, I commend you for the great work that you do in Tea Time with Bunky. Uh,
Thank you.
Truly amazing. I look forward to being following your show and follow anything that I can do to assist you in your growth. Anything that
Thank
I can
you.
assist you in getting a message out to the community. Please count with me. There's no hidden agendas there. If I can't do it, I'm gonna let you know I can't do it.
I believe you.
I would do anything that I can help you or any member in this community. Um, and I say that sincerely. If I offended anyone on your show tonight, please accept my sincerest apologies. Those were never my intentions. I am who I am.
Yes.
Uh, Sometimes I'm rough around the edges,
You weren't
uh,
rough.
but let it be known that I am a God fearing man, first and foremost. I'm not always going to get it right, but my heart is good and my intentions are good.
Yes. Trust me, there was if anybody offended anybody, it was me. It was not you. It was you. You were great. You were great. Um, so I'm getting ready to go. I got to go to Bible study.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good night.
So
God bless you. We'll stay connected.
I I definitely have to talk to you about this veteran service thing. Definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So hold on for 1 second. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight to this special Veterans Day edition. Next week we have Mr. Jesse Hinton, my little cousin, and we're going to be talking about his new counseling services, Hinton Counseling Services, and he's located in Monticello. He's a licensed social worker, so that's something new and up and coming. Young African American man doing his thing. Came out of Utica, New York, which is pretty rough too. So we're going to talk about his path. So thank you all. Make sure you join in next week. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, follow. and subscribe. And next year, we're going to be looking for Mr. Nieves' posters and his signs, if it's the Lord's will, next mayor of Woodrige, New York. So you guys have a wonderful night. Good night.